Hello once again, my friends. It is I, Moonhorse, here with yet another story. I don't know why I got all, serious and dramatic there. It's been a weird night. Anyway, let's read a story. This is from Reddit user Grinchbear, who I'm totally going to pretend like I don't know who he is since he keeps ignoring me. Yeah, I'm calling you out. Botherbeard, the Bettering. Sup, guys? Let me clarify a few things before we get started. I have not, as some malicious rumors have been saying, been banished from the Earth, nor do I live in space among the stars and their confusing, idiot blinking language. I know some of those people, how dare you? I'm perfectly fine here amongst all the people of Earth and not slowly going insane in a sea of utter blackness. Okay, that's weird. Let's get to it. So how many of you can remember Botherbeard, the heavyset girl who pestered me on how to write my book that I'm already struggling with? Well, she's back, and it's worse than ever. So myself, my editor, who I call Ed, yes, I'm aware that's also my dog's name, both desperately need to go out and socialize because, as it turns out, being a shut-in, only leaving the house for work and school isn't really good for you. As such, we decide we want to go get a drink and work on the story, so we head to a modest little pub in a part of town called Rice Village. It's quiet there and nowhere near as pretentious as Starbucks, so we can work without feeling like hipster schmucks waiting to be recognized as deep, brooding creators. Instead, we just want to be recognized as hipster schmucks that want to get a little fucked up. We arrive at the pub and grab a spot near the back of the place, order our drinks, and get to work. We've been at it 15 minutes before the skunky odor of weed washes over us. Ed and I groan simultaneously as we look up to see Botherbeard, decked out in her best Hot Topic finery, including those annoying striped fingerless gloves and a corset that looked to be working to do its job with admirable gusto. Wow, what are you guys doing here? God, the nasally voice of this woman still infuriates me. We're just getting some work done, Ed says, clearly none too happy that this wannabe scene girl is here. Not really looking to be social. I mean, we got a deadline, so... Oh my god, are you guys working on the book with the witches? Yeah. You know what? I know you're gonna tell me no matter... We should get my boyfriend to look at it. He has great ideas. It's all I can do to pinch the space between my eyes and sigh angrily. No. That's alright, I'm not really looking for any... Babe, get over here! I start to wonder if maybe it might have been better to go to Starbucks instead when the stink of too much aqua velva hits me. Oh, it's you. Fuck me with the force of a great typhoon. That smarmy voice. I'd know it anywhere. I dared to glance up and there he stood. Butterbeard. Still dressed like someone who thinks vampires are super deep and as attractive as the halfway image on the cover of an Animorphs book. The bane of my existence for 8 long months. For a brief moment, I felt a piece of sanity I'd been collecting since leaving the apartment start to break off and drift away to a place that it would have none of this shit. The two, despite all our protests, pull up seats and Butterbeard crosses his arms and stares at me while Botherbeard glances between us, apparently oblivious of the anger half of this party is feeling. So, our smarmy twant of a beard decides to address me. You're writing a book now? Yeah, I've been doing so for a little over a year. You really think you have the talent for it? Wonder how long it would take to strangle you. I don't know, maybe. I just have an idea, and hopefully it turns into something good. Yeah, he actually made the exaggerated sound. I'll be the judge of that. This human emu-looking motherfucker reaches out and grips his greasy little pads on my laptop screen and then suddenly yelps. I don't even realize I'm doing it for a few seconds, but I've got 3 of his fingers in my grip and I'm bending them backwards in a manner that is not gentle. Sorry, but don't touch my shit, man. I use this for school, and I'd rather not let other people I don't know put their hands on it. Fine. He pulls his hand back, and I swear to God, he fucking pouts. Then he proceeds to dramatically rub his hand like I'd broken his finger, so his girlfriend can notice and fawn over him. You can't be so violent, she chastises me as she cradles Botherbeard's boo-boos. You can just use your words, easily as you can hurt someone. Ed finally speaks up after being very fascinated at the bottom of her bottle. Then maybe he should ask before touching someone else's stuff. There's a few minutes of petty squabbling between the two cousins, and when it dissipates, we finally manage to get out a rough summary of what this story is and the things we've added into it. You're thinking too small, Butterbeard says, still crossing his arms and staring at me. I'm gonna regret this, but how so? The witch is thinking too small. She should be taking over the world instead of just a territory. Thing is, that's not really possible for her, dude, and she knows it's a bad idea to even attempt that because global occupation by one person isn't really possible. And another thing. Alright, just cut me off, that's fine. Why can't she have a boyfriend? Fuck me with this again. Because she's aromantic. She has pretty much no interest in it. If there's no love interest, then the story ends up being boring. At this moment, I had to take a really deep breath and excuse myself to grab a fresh drink for myself and Ed, who has been valiantly fronting half of this bullshittery. I settled on 2 double shots of whiskey on the rocks. This place actually had frozen stones instead of those ice cubes, so the liquor doesn't get diluted. It's pretty cool. I return to see Ed is visibly developing a headache as she explains another aspect of this. What's with all the forced diversity, too? I mean, why are the other magic uses all over the place? It makes no sense. Ed, bless her heart, follows this up with the usual explanation. The main witch's dad had those magic eugenics experiments pretty much everywhere. So there's really gifted magic users all over the world. It's a chance to explore these magics and religion through other and why is the Scottish one gay? Because he is. But why does he have to be? Why does he have to be straight? I set the drinks down and relieve Ed of her headache for a moment. Dude, he'd still be the same person even if he was straight. So he ended up being one of the characters that's also gay. There's nothing wrong with representation in the story. But he's Scottish, he should be manly. It's insulting to William Wallace. Oh my fucking god, I want to slap this guy. I'm at a loss for words for a minute and slowly sip my whiskey as I stare in confusion. Bailey is like really fiercely anti-English dude, and he just sections off most of the Scotland from them. I think Wallace might approve, actually. We proceed to argue back and forth about how characters being gay doesn't matter, but the representation is important, and then we get to the suffering. Botherbeard begins to back up her boyfriend and suddenly chimes in with, you know, you can't have Bailey be a victim of abuse, right? We both stare at her. Why? I mean, you can't have a gay character go through that. It's just mean-spirited, and it'll just tell gay people that they'll be abused no matter what. Fucking what? You don't, he isn't just abused. His character is part of how he developed from it. He's angry, he has a hard time trusting people, he numbs himself with drugs and liquor. I think we sipped on that one. If anything, he's a character that overcomes it by refusing to let himself be a victim again. But you also ruined the only gay relationship in the book. To clarify, I have a character, Rena, who is Latina, and who is a lesbian, and is in a relationship that she's thoroughly not happy in. She does not stay in it, mind you. She eventually realizes she deserves better than that, and moves on. That's just showing how gay relationships will never work. I personally hate people like this, who demand that if you have any LGBT plus character in your media, they aren't allowed to have any flaws besides being kind of unhappy because people don't understand them. It's up there with people who get upset for you writing an objectively bad person that says bad things. I'm gonna take a little shot right here. See, he makes a note about Has-Been Hotel as if I would read it out loud. But I'm not.
Two to the one to the three. I like good pussy and I like good trees. Smoke so much weed you wouldn't believe. And I get more eyes than a toilet seat. 3 to...
Look, you're just going about it the wrong way. You're leaning too far into this ultra-feminazi nonsense. There's too much forced representation.
Fuck anybody who says this, by the way. Ed finally speaks up and says, I'm sorry, but how exactly did you two end up together? I'm not gonna lie, this is something I wondered. A guy who very much doesn't like anything remotely feminist and a hot topic feminist. Not what you'd call a match made in heaven.
Oh, it's simple. I'm a total daddy.
I'm gonna vomit, like, right now, actually. That's... My editor gags audibly, and I choke on whiskey. I'm sorry, what? Yeah, he's totally dominant, and I love it. My brain physically hurts writing this, and I feel physically ill after the forced image of Botherbeard trying to be a dom wormed its way into my brain. I immediately excuse myself with the excuse of going to get a smoke. Ed comes with me, and we both stand outside, shivering a little in the cold on the patio, while mutually burning down our own coffin nails. She's white as a sheet. I'm queasy from just hearing it. We stand around for a few minutes, puffing in silence. It's actually pleasant, until...
You guys are actually smoking?
The nasally squawk makes every muscle in my body tense up, and I reach for the knife. Thankfully, I no longer carry it with me at all times. We turn and unfortunately see the beardly pair approaching us, one waddling and the other one walking like the Cloverfield monster, all gangly and bird-like.
You know that's, like, totally bad for you, right? Every puff is a minute of your life.
Yeah, sure. We turn away and stare at the street, and people watch. Rice Village is actually kind of lovely at night, and it's one of the few places I don't hate being around people. We did our best to just ignore them until a fruity-smelling cloud engulfed one whole side of my head. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this marionette-walking shit muppet is vaping and blowing it directly at me. Mind you, there's no wind blowing, so he's just carelessly doing this. Now, dear listeners, I'm sure by now you feel like I've gone over this horrible reunion long enough to have glossed over the worst part. Oh, you'd be wrong. Real quick, before this goes on, I'd like to have Mooney pause for a moment and let you all type out a comment below and guess what you think is going to happen next. Then edit your reaction to see what actually happens. Guess right and I'll DM you a picture of the new ferrets from work or something. As a narrator's note, stop telling me to do things! All done? Okay. BB takes another suck in his steampunk fruit phallus and stares at me for a moment, and I glare back, hiding not at all that I don't care for him. I'm about to scream at him when he finally speaks up.
Look, Botherbeard's been wanting to ask you something for a while, and that's part of why she's here.
Not even going to slightly address how he knew we were here.
After what you put me through, I really don't like you, but I wouldn't be a good dom if I didn't listen to her requests every now and then. She's really wanting to get double teamed.
No!
And everyone I've suggested didn't work out.
No!
And she's been wanting to ask you to take the spot of our third.
No! Why in God's name would I do that?
Look, don't ask me, it was her idea.
Editor and I are standing slack-jawed in horror. Botherbeard doesn't even seem to take notice of our very obvious discomfort. Yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm good.
Well, what about you?
Botherbeard looks at Ed, who once again turns white as paper. This motherfucker just asked if this girl's cousin would like to be in a threesome.
I always wanted to be in a two-girl threesome.
I swear this man's grin could have cracked a mirror. The crowning jewel of this conversation was Botherbeard asked me if I could maybe get in touch with my brother for them because she liked the big black... No!
Well, what about Ash? I've always wanted to take her to bed.
Oh my god. We aren't dating anymore. And you know she...
Why you couldn't even hold on to one woman? God, you're such a cock. I can't believe you just left it perfect.
You all know what happened next. I get pissed, knock him right back in his little beak nose, and cuss up a storm with Ed holding me back until I manage to calm down. After that, we leave and go to finish our brainstorming session at Starbucks. God damn it! And as far as I know, I broke Botherbeard's nose. I don't really have an ending for this, since I've been writing this while I'm supposed to be paying attention in class, but, you know, that's just not how I roll. Oh, God, he sounds like a winner. They both do. They sound like absolute fucking shit-fest morons. But before we get into exactly how horrible this little Neckbeard power couple is, I'm going to go ahead and restate that other thing. I'm sure my wonderful editing has already made this very clear, but don't ask me to do things. I'm just going to fuck with you. It's kind of how Editor Moonhorse rolls, you know? Also, what is it with Neckbeard couples? I have noticed that's like a thing. They've all started pairing up. Does this mean they're all going to start laying eggs? Do I need to get the spray? Do I need to get the flamethrower? Do I need to get the big flamethrower? Because you know, I kind of want to. Just because it's a big flamethrower. I mean, let's be honest. But anyway, I can't get over the fucking arrogance of just being like, hey, I realize this is your book, but let me tell you how everything's wrong and that I just want you to redo it a whole different way. You weren't even asked for input. You were just demanding that you knew, which is 10 kinds of a shitlord thing to do. Also, did this guy literally just unironically say the word cuck? Like, out loud? Oh, fuck. I've always wanted to hear a Neckbeard say that out loud. Like, just as an insult, because it's so fucking hilarious. How do you even take somebody serious when they say something like that? I mean, I couldn't. I'd start laughing. I'm gonna be honest with you, I really couldn't. I've been called so many horrible things from the incel board and every other Neckbeard I've ever known, so this would just be the icing on the cake.
You blue-pilled cock.
Say it again, Daddy! Holy shit, what a fucking ride. Thank you all for being here, and I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye! Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and a special thanks to my Moonfriendios Babbsy-kun and Stony Inc. If you would like to send in your own story, you can send it to r/Moonhorse Stories, or if you would like to donate to my Patreon, you can do that. Please do. There's also a merch store if you want to buy anything there, and, well, honestly, that's about it. Thank you all so much for watching, and I love you all. I'll see you in the next episode. Okay, goodbye now. Bye!